Let's talk about Venmo, and this is a guide about Venmo app. I want to talk to you about what is it, how to use it, and how to make sure that you are safe while doing online transactions. So here's a preface I want to introduce you to. Basically, when we think about Venmo, Venmo is a mobile app that actually makes a peer-to-peer money transfers simple and inexpensive or free in some cases. So P2P, okay, and the app is mobile only, meaning you cannot receive or send money on a desktop computer. You can, however, transfer money using the app via iMessage and special emoji. And so basically, the goal of Venmo is to help consumers navigate split checks and other situations where dollars need to change hands, right? And so common uses for Venmo include sharing the cost of a cab ride with a friend, for instance, paying a colleague back for happy hour drinks, or even sending your roommate your half of the rent. So it's all about flexibility. When you think about Venmo, I want you to think about flexibility, and I want you to think about speed too. So let's say if you go out to dinner with friends on a Friday night, one friend can pay the bill while the others Venmo their share to that person. You can even use Venmo to tip your hairstylist or dog walker. So that's really cool. With Venmo, no one has to carry cash around, nor does anyone have an excuse to avoid paying their share, right? You can say, well, I don't have money right now in my wallet, whatever. And so, how does Venmo make money? That's a big question that a lot of users are asking. Well, Venmo makes money in a few different ways. So, according to, based on our research, Venmo makes money when people request instant bank transfers, which charge a small fee. And when people use Venmo to take mobile purchases, the company also makes money each time you use the Venmo card, should you own it, if you approve for the card, okay? Now let's talk about how does Venmo work. So to send and receive money through Venmo, you need to set up a Venmo account, and you can use the Android or iOS app to get started. There is no web browser option for Venmo. You have to use the mobile app to send money, receive money, and make purchases. And so you have a lot of stuff to do. You can actually send money to family and friends. You can make purchases online with the app. And so Venmo transactions are not public, but they can be. Okay, so Venmo has three different privacy settings, and you can choose which setting you want to be the default for your purchases. You can also change your settings with each purchase or transaction. So that's kind of cool in terms of flexibility. And so here are Venmo's privacy settings as outlined on its website. So public, the transaction will be shared on the Venmo public feed, and anyone on the internet will be able to see it. Friends only, the transaction will only be shared with your Venmo friends and with the other participants' Venmo friends. And private, Venmo will not share the transaction anywhere other than your own portal feed. And if it's a payment to another user, the feed of the other person in the payment. Let's talk about the strategy here. So how do you use Venmo? How do you send and receive money? Let's go a little more detail here, okay? And so basically, Venmo is very easy, okay? Venmo actually, it's the thing is that Venmo, when they started a couple of years ago, they were doing only money transfers. Nowadays, they go into a lot of stuff. I mean, Venmo nowadays is making a push into business payments. So it's not just friends paying each other back for dinner or concert tickets anymore. Now you can use Venmo to pay for all sorts of goods and services. So Venmo is a very easy to use app that you can actually tie to your bank account that allows you to actually pay and receive money. So once set up, sending money with Venmo is as easy as entering the name of the friend or business you're paying, tapping pay or request, entering an amount, a note about what it's for, and hitting pay. So requesting money on Venmo works the same way. Enter the name, hit pay or request, enter the amount and what it is for, then hit request. Now you got to really always justify what it is for AML reasons. I mean, for regulatory reasons, and also the government wants to make sure that AML means anti-money laundering. So just want to make sure what the transaction is for. So you want to launch the app. So launch the Venmo app on your mobile device. You can't send and receive money through the website. I've said this before. Then you have to hit pay or request. Find the pay or request button on the home screen. It will either say pay or request, or it will look like a pencil and a square. You want to enter a name. So enter the username phone number, or email of the person you like to pay or charge. Now, make sure the person has the right name because some people might have a different name. So make sure you've got it exactly right, as you wouldn't want to pay Joe Smith 4 when your friend is actually Joe Smith 5. And then you want to enter the amount. So if you want to, let's say, if you want to send your friend $50, you want to enter 50 in the field with a dollar sign to the right of the person's name. So pretty straightforward. Next, you can also leave a note. Okay, so going back to what I said a little earlier in terms of justifying the what the transaction is for, right? So you want to, in the what's it's for field located below the person's name, you want to type in whatever you want. As you type, suggested emojis will pop up, and choose to include them if you wish. And also you want to change the privacy setting. I spoke to you about the privacy setting, very important. I mean, we advise all our viewers to actually change the privacy setting, because you do not want to have your transaction publicized. I mean, we don't care. Venmo will tell you, hey, yeah, I mean, it's not important, but hey, listen, that's part of your privacy, and everything that touches on money, you want it to be private. So at the bottom right of the screen is the privacy setting, which you can tap to change. Public, as I said a little earlier, indicates that everyone can see these transactions. Friends indicate that the transaction is only visible to the sender, recipients, and their Venmo friends. And private indicates that it's only visible to the sender and the recipient. Next, you want to choose your action. So tap on either request or pay in the blue bar, depending on which action you want to actually initiate. And next, you want to confirm. So tap on the green confirmation bar that will appear at the bottom of the screen, and voila. I mean, the next thing you have to do here is to check your email. So you got to check your email to make sure that things are actually, or like your money is either on its way or coming to you. You will receive an email confirming the transaction, and that's all that there is to it. If you have more questions, be sure to actually, contact Venmo, or even there's an in-app help function. So if you have paid someone by mistake, you want to know how to cancel a Venmo payment and how to undo a Venmo payment to the wrong user. And if you are done with the service entirely, you are also able to delete your account. Not a problem. So you do have flexibility there. Don't feel like, you're totally sort of stuck. No, you have possibilities. There are options out. That's for sure. Let's talk about cost consideration. So how much does it cost to use Venmo? Now, actually, I should have started with another question. Does it cost money to use Venmo? Are there Venmo fees if you need to be fees that you need to be aware of? Now, one thing for sure, if you use Venmo for online purchases, you will not be assessed a fee, even if you use credit. You can also send money to friends for free, provided that your transfer is funded by a balance in your Venmo account or a debit or a prepaid card. Not a credit card. It has to be a debit or a prepaid card. Now, there are instances where you will pay to use Venmo. You have standard transfer service, credit card transfers. Now, let me break it down for you. So when I speak about standard transfer service, you will pay a standard fee of 1%, minimum of 25 cents, to a maximum of $10 to transfer money instantly from the app to your bank account. You can also transfer cash to your bank account for free, although you won't receive your funds for up to 3 days. So, I mean, this is where Venmo makes money. As I said a little earlier, Venmo makes money because they believe that you want your cash a lot faster. And you have to pay for that speed. You have to pay for that convenience, right? Getting your cash right away versus waiting for the day after next to get your cash really does. I mean, time is money. You also have a credit card transfers. So if you use a credit card to transfer money to other people, you will pay a flat 3% fee. It's also worth noting that some credit card issuers consider these kinds of peer-to-peer transactions to be cash advances, so you might have to pay cash advance fees and cash advance interest rates on your transfer. Make sure that you contact your bank or credit union before you initiate anything through Venmo. How do you get started with Venmo? It's if you want to find a way to transfer money to friends, start by downloading the Venmo app. Then enter the following personal information: your phone number, your email address, and bank account number. You also need to create a Venmo login and password to secure your account. Note that when you first open your account, you'll have a rolling limit of $299.99, so $299.99 per week for payments and purchases. Once you verify your account, Venmo limits increases. Venmo limits will increase to nearly 5,000 rolling weekly limit for person-to-person payments, 7,000 yearly in weekly authorized merchant payments, and you also have 7,000 also in weekly Venmo debit card purchases. And this spending limits are combined. So if you spend nearly 7,000 on Venmo debit card purchases in a single week, you will not be able to make any person-to-person payments or authorized merchant payments during that week. So you have to be really, really careful there. Also note that some per transaction limits apply. This include a 5,000 limit per transaction on person-to-person payments, a $3,000 transaction limit on merchant payments, and a $3,000 limit on Venmo debit card transactions. Let's talk about the speed here. So how long does it take for Venmo payments to arrive? Well, to get money from Venmo, you basically need to open a Venmo account. You gotta really have you gotta set things up from the get-go, and from there you can accept payments from other people. You can also move money to your Venmo account using a linked bank account. To get money out of your Venmo account, you can set up a transfer to your bank account. And one of the main benefits of using Venmo, as you actually, based on our experience, is the speed at which you can send and receive money. And so, but you got to set up your Venmo balance though, because once your Venmo balance is set up, any money you receive from another person can usually be accessed in a short amount of time, a few hours to a few days. However, it may take actually several days to receive money if a recipient had just opened a Venmo account for the first time, because Venmo has to actually go through some regulatory AML check, so KYC, also know your customer. So they have to make sure that the other person is actually legit. You can transfer money from your Venmo account to your bank account instantly if you are willing to pay a 1% fee to do so with a 25 cents minimum and a $10 maximum. Standard bank transfers are free, but they do take 1 to 3 business days to process. And what about safety here? Because a lot of folks are sort of concerned about safety. Well, is it safe to use Venmo at all? Definitely. Venmo is safe to use. Venmo uses encryption to keep your funds and account details safe. They also use a multi-factor authentication to confirm your identity and add another layer of security. In fact, you can set up a unique PIN code in the app, which can help ensure that you are the only one who uses your Venmo account to send or receive money. And the Venmo app offers additional security features you can access, including a Touch ID login options. And so just be aware of that. And by the way, there are some Venmo scams that do exist, so you should be aware of those scams so you can avoid them. Many Venmo scams originate on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, where both buyers and sellers can be scammed by untrustworthy Venmo users. So to avoid being scammed on Venmo, only transfer money to people and retailers you know and trust. Okay, that's very important for you to really think about that. Let's talk about the extras here. So I want to talk to you about the Venmo MasterCard debit card as well as the Venmo credit card. So if you want more flexibility with your Venmo balance, Venmo actually offers a solution for that. They do have a MasterCard debit card called the Venmo MasterCard debit card that basically lets you do everything that a normal debit card can help you do. In other words, you can use your Venmo balance anywhere MasterCard is accepted. And Venmo limits for the Venmo MasterCard debit card are $299.99 per purchase, so that's nearly $3,000. And you also have $699.99, nearly $7,000 combined weekly spending for person-to-person payments to authorized merchants, and purchases with your Venmo MasterCard debit card. You also have a $400 daily limit for ATM withdrawals, over-the-counter withdrawals, and cashback with purchase transactions. Also note that there may be fees involved in getting cash out of an ATM, including a $2.50 domestic ATM withdrawal fee. So if you want to get cash out of get cash out with your debit card for free, you can use the MoneyPass ATM network without having to pay this additional charge. So that's for the Venmo debit card. You also have the Venmo credit card. So basically, Venmo just released the Venmo credit card in partnership with Synchrony Bank, and the card is currently available only to select customers. But all eligible Venmo customers in the US will be able to apply in the coming months. And the Venmo credit card offers a unique 3-2-1 cashback structure that gets you 3% back in your top spend category, 2% back in your second highest spending category, and 1% back on all other purchases. And eligible categories include transportation, grocery, travel, entertainment, dining, and nightlife. So that's really good in terms of flexibility. You have bills and utilities, you have health and beauty, you have gas, and you also have other. And so similar to the Apple Card, the Venmo credit card offers a robust mobile app integration. You can also use the Venmo app to track card activity, make bill payments, access a virtual card number, and more. So you have a lot of flexibility there as well. So before we close this conversation, we want to do a quick comparative analysis here. So of course, I spoke to you about Venmo, but what about PayPal? I mean, Venmo versus PayPal, which is better? Because PayPal has been there longer than Venmo, and PayPal started about 25 years ago. Venmo started about 10 years ago. So both Venmo and PayPal work well when you want to send money with a mobile device, and it shouldn't be surprising that they work similarly since PayPal owns Venmo to begin with. Okay, so when we speak about the comparison, there is no real comparison because those two are brothers or sisters, if you will. You can use either platform to send or receive money with ease, but many people like using Venmo due to the social aspect of the app. And both platforms are also free to use when you are sending money using a balance in your account. However, both platforms charge money when you use credit cards to send payments to friends and family. So just be aware of that. And as I mentioned a little earlier, Venmo charges a 3% fee every time you use a credit card to transfer money to another person. PayPal charges 2.9% plus a fixed fee based on the currency you are using. If your payment is in US dollar, the fixed fee is 30 cents, and it really applies whether you are using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal credit. There is also another big difference that you should be aware of between Venmo and PayPal. PayPal lets you send money to friends and family using a desktop computer. This is important to consider if you don't always want to send money through an app, which is the only option Venmo allows. So this is something to really think about. And also keep in mind that both Venmo and PayPal can be excellent peer-to-peer payment options. So if you want flexibility, if you want convenience, if you want scalability, then think about which one you should go for. So bottom line here is that Venmo is growing in both popularity and added features while offering a safe and secure way to send money to family and friends. If you want to shop on your phone with ease or quickly pay a friend back for a shared expense, consider downloading the Venmo app today. In conclusion, to this conversation, I spoke to you about the Venmo app, and I gave you the preface, the strategy, the cost considerations, the extra, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.